Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about 5 steps I took to negotiate my salary and some quick tips at the end. If you want to see more of these videos, make sure you give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit subscribe. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first step that I took was I made sure that I was not alone in negotiating my salary. The experienced recruiter that I worked with had 10 years plus of experience in the current industry. Typically, the company and the recruiter will ask you what your desired salary range is, and so you want to make sure that you have a certain number or range in mind. I was looking for a 7% increase in my salary for the next position. He came back and said, instead of 7%, let's ask for 15%. So about double of what I was asking. I do want to note that recruiters typically get a commission from your new salary. So it is in their best interest to have you get the higher salary as well. Just be mindful that not all recruiters are like that though. So please use your judgment when finding a recruiter. Step number 2 was to figure out a negotiation strategy. So we decided to use the highball strategy, which is basically when you ask for a higher salary with the expectation that they will lower it, but it may be a little bit more than what they were expecting to pay in the first place. So let me give you an example. This is an example I learned in my psych class in college, and it is also known as a sales technique. So say I'm trying to sell this cup and I say that it costs $50. And the person I'm selling to says,
"There's no way I'm going to buy this for $50.
And so you say, okay, it's not $50. Let me give it to you for $10. And then they go,
Oh, $10? That's not too bad. That's actually a lot better than $50. Okay, I'll take it."
so that's kind of like the same thing, right? I'll leave down a link below of other strategies that you can use. I just happen to use the highball method. Step number 3 is to present that salary amount or range to the company for them to decide on whether they will accept it or not. That way they have an idea of what they're willing to pay. So originally I asked for a 15% increase in my salary, but they were not going for that, so they lowered it to 11%. So that's when I can actually take that 11%, or I could go into step number 4, which is to evaluate and to leverage. You want to be able to evaluate the offer. You want to make sure that if there are other offers in the table, to look at them all and see which one is the best offer. You want to understand and leverage your worth as a professional in the industry, and that is based on experience, background, and skills. So step number 5, I could accept the offer or I can make a counter offer, and that's what I decided to do. I counter offer the original offer. Instead of the 11%, I asked for 12.5%. During this counter offer portion, be patient with their reply. Some will get back to you right away, and some people might not. You always want to keep your options open. So in this case, even if they didn't accept my counter offer, I was willing to walk away. So let's go over some quick tips on salaries in general. The first quick tip that is based on my own experience is negotiating helps when you have a job already and you're looking for a different job. So it allows you to not rush into getting the first offer that's on the table and gives you the patience to really evaluate all of the options. So it kind of gives companies the upper hand if they know that you're not employed. Now, say you don't have a job, that is still okay. My only advice to that is to make sure that you don't undersell your skills, your abilities, your background, and to not go for the very first offer, especially if that offer is not the best one.
We are prepared to make you a very generous offer.
And we are prepared to reject that offer.
Michael, you haven't even heard.
Never accept their first offer. What is your second offer?
Number 2 is to prove yourself first and to gain experience and knowledge. So you can't just come out of college and say,
"Hey, I know I just graduated, but can I get a raise?"
So make sure that you know that you do need to put the experience and sometimes the number of years in order to even begin the negotiation process. Number 3 is to make sure you understand the marketplace and the economy. So negotiation power works the best when the marketplace is booming, the economy is doing great, And in the cases that it's not, it's a little harder to negotiate because there will be more demand for that job that you currently have. So timing is very important. You want to make sure that the economy is doing well, there is not a huge demand for your job, and that it's not easily replaced. So the next are my final thoughts. There's a difference between being content versus being walked all over. And I see this a lot. So yes, it is completely fine to be content with your current salary, but at the same time, I think there's a difference between that and being walked all over, and that's when you become overlooked, even though you're working twice as hard as everyone else. Or maybe because you're not vocal enough. It's okay to ask and get rejected. I've been rejected a lot of times in my life, but it's okay. There are so many good things that come along with you just asking and having the conversation, having discussions. So that concludes this video. That is 5 steps that I took to negotiate my salary and some quick tips. If you want to see more of these videos, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!